Guys, this is Erin Manuel with week 3 video discussion on assignment 1, and I was assigned strategy when it comes to communication. I didn't really understand the chapter as far as politics went, so I tried to reason ways for it to make sense in my head. So if something doesn't make sense or if I'm not right, just call me out on it. But just within the first few paragraphs of chapter 13 on page 153, it says strategy needs to adjust and adapt flexibility and imaginatively to changing circumstances and evolving strategic situations. Strategy has to be translated into plausible action tactics that, when integrated together, achieve success. So when I was reading this, I pictured in my mind a basketball player. Cheesy, but players don't just run up and down the court hoping to score a goal. They have to be strategic with their plays and think ahead of how they are going to stop the opposing team from scoring a goal in hopes that your strategy will help you achieve success. And then on page 154, it talks about modifications. So sometimes in basketball, plays that a coach sees in their head doesn't always work in every situation. So what may seem to work in theory may prove the implausible in practice. The process of design tests whether the tactics selected or their utilization will best achieve success. If not, tactics, strategy, or both need rethought and modified. So the way I'm seeing this chapter is where the practices and scrimmages before each game come into play. This is the part that the coaches can make modifications that are necessary for the next game, and they can either choose to keep the same strategy, modify it, or come up with a new game plan altogether in hopes that they will win the next game. So how does tactic differ from strategy? According to Ron F. on page 155, he describes strategy as how you position yourself and allocate resources to maximize your strength and minimize your weakness. He says it's an easy way to win. Tactic is a tool to implementing strategy. It is conduct. It represents the tools to implement strategy whose deployment is prescribed by the concept of design. So in basketball, there would be two types of tactics, defense and offense, attack and defend. The strategy would be defensive plays like man-to-man or zone defense. On page 159, journalist and scholar Neville Bolt suggests that Thatcher understood two crucial concepts about communication: definition and repetition. To win, politicians need to define who they are, what they stand for, and the stakes in a controversy or an election. Either you define yourself or your opponents will define you. So in my eyes, the way I see this is like Thunder player Kevin Durant. He made a bold statement when he left Oklahoma City, saying that he would never be attached to them. The fans in Oklahoma City loved him, and they were all very upset with him for leaving. So the treatment that he got for leaving was the reason he gave for never being attached to them. By doing this, Durant defined himself by saying that he was never coming back to Oklahoma. On page 160, Anthony makes a point that strategic communication success relies on developing a story and narrative that defines the stakes. The stakes drives cause, maintains message, discipline, and the precept of repetition equals penetration equals impact. Carrying this over to the game of basketball, coaches will drill repetition into their players until it penetrates their minds and impacts the playing. And then finally, persuading target audience is a key point in strategic communication. Knowing what their likes and dislikes are playing a big role in this. In basketball game, this would be more than likely to look like a team that knows who they're up against, knowing their other team's moves, anticipating them, their signals, etc., and that will be able to help them in the long run. So that is my assignment 1 in week 3. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's kind of what got me through the chapter. So thank you guys for watching.